It's the Monday Morning Show. Today is May 2nd, 2017. I'm Ken LaSalle from kenlasalle.com. And I know I've been talking a lot about backpacking lately, getting ready for the Pacific Crest Trail, hiking from Julian to Warner Springs on the Pacific Crest Trail, hiking from Campo to Lake Marina on the Pacific Crest Trail. I think I'm sounding like a broken record. Granted, that's such an old reference, nobody's going to know what I'm talking about. But there's one thing I haven't really talked about, and before I put all of my talk about backpacking away for, well, at least a couple of months, I'd like to take this opportunity to answer the question, why? Why do I do it? What could I possibly get out of backpacking? If you've seen my YouTube videos, or even listened to a few of these podcasts, you've probably heard about some mishap or other that I went through while backpacking. The weather from Julian to Warner Springs was supposed to be in the 70s, but got up to 100 degrees. And near Hauser Creek, temperatures dropped to freezing just as the zipper on my sleeping bag broke. It's not lost to me that I'm not the best at this, or, for that matter, possess the best possible luck. So you'd think I would have given up by now. And you'd probably be right. Except that I get a lot out of backpacking. And I think everyone can, no matter how skilled you may be. You could be the world's worst backpacker and still get a lot out of it. Believe me, I know. There are the obvious benefits, of course. Hiking and backpacking do wonders for your health, for instance. There's something about hauling a heavy backpack a long distance that's great for your heart. And yes, getting outside and experiencing the wonders of nature, even if you live in Southern California like me and don't actually have too many natural wonders near you, is fantastic. But for me, backpacking has given me one benefit above all others. You see, I didn't come to backpacking until very recently. Oh sure, I've loved hiking and backpacking my whole life. But I've only really experienced it with other people when I've been able to find other people to go, which hasn't been very often. As a result, up until a few years ago, I only backpacked a handful of times, always trying to find someone else to hike with, never trusting that I could go alone, that I could survive. Truth be told, I was pretty scared of the whole thing. Me? Alone? Out there? With all those bears and mountain lions? I couldn't believe such a thing was possible. This was back when I thought that nature was positively crawling with bears and mountain lions. And then my 40s arrived, and I realized that I had spent 4 decades trying to find someone to hike with me. And nobody I found ever really wanted to hike as much as I did, which meant I never hiked as much as I wanted to. Basically, I never hiked. Maybe 3 or 4 times a year, which wasn't much at all. At a certain point in my 40s, I had to admit to myself that I was never going to hike as much as I liked until I learned to accept the fact that I was going to have to hike alone. And hiking alone takes a certain something that I did not have a lot of. It takes courage. And I wouldn't classify myself as particularly brave. Not then, not now. Overall, kind of a chicken. I don't know when the time came that I made the decision to hike alone, but it was an important turning point, which took a little bravery on my part. I mean, for the most part, I'm an indoor boy. Going out there where anything could happen? Well, it didn't happen overnight. And after a few years admitting to myself that I wanted to learn to backpack alone Well, that didn't come overnight either. I remember talking to my wife about it, using as many qualifiers as I could muster. I'd like to hike the PCT. Later. One day. No time soon, of course. When I first hit the Pacific Crest Trail, I was still a very inexperienced backpacker. Hell, I was still an inexperienced hiker, which I suppose explains a lot of my setbacks and why I still haven't been able to manage more than a 2-day trip. But I don't see that as a failure, you see, because I've learned so much along the way. Not only about backpacking, but also about myself, about my limits. Here's a perfect example of what I mean by courage. It's nothing extreme or daring or what many people would even call courageous. But until very recently, I had never hiked Black Star Canyon. Black Star Canyon is a very popular hiking area here in Orange County. Anyone who hikes has probably hiked there, except for me. Until recently, at least. The trailhead is positively covered in signs warning you that
you will be eaten by a mountain lion on this ride.
But hiking and backpacking have taught me what to look out for, and has also taught me not to be afraid of those warning signs. And that's what I get out of hiking. Courage. It has taught me to push past my comfort zone and embrace new experiences, even when I'm warned that they might be scary. True, I might not be the best, but I am learning. I'm accepting my limitations and finding ways around them. Hiking and backpacking are making me a better person. And at this age, what more could I ask for? Until next time, be good to yourself, be kind to others, and let's make this world a better place.